Hello and what's up, guys? It is your big guy, Daddy Africa, and I'm back at it again with another amazing video. And on this week's episode, I'm going to have a conversation with a guest I'm prepared with, and we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, and it's also very controversial, and the topic is feminism. And I'll let my guest introduce herself, and I'm really honored to have you. Karibu.
Thank you. Hi guys. My name is Agatha Gichana. I am I'm a law student at the University of Nairobi. I'm in my final year, and I'm really glad to be on the platform, the Africa. And I hope we're going to have a really productive discussion. Other than that, I'm also on YouTube at A_Gichana. I have some really amazing content on there. I read books, I review books, and then I'm also crazy about perfumes and fragrances and makeup and just generally lifestyle and everything that's good. So check me out.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I'll leave links in my description with all her socials and where you can find her, so you can also go support a fellow content creator. And with that, let's get into the video. Guys, as we have said, we are going to get into a conversation about feminism, and this is a very controversial topic, Gishana. And in your own words, how would you define feminism?
Okay, first of all, before I give a proper definition,
Yes.
I honestly feel like feminism is quite I feel like it's a relative concept. A lot of people have different ideas of what it is, but the original concept was that feminism is the advocacy for the equality of the sexes. That is social equality, economic equality, and political equality among the sexes. That is the male gender and the female gender. Of course, that is not the same perspective that a lot of people have. The different theories of feminism that have different conceptualizations and different goals of feminism. But personally, the school of thought that I would like to associate with is feminism as a movement or advocacy for the equality of the sexes. That is economically, socially, and politically. So I do not believe that the female gender or feminism should necessarily topple patriarchy. I do not believe that it should be the dominant sex, but I believe in the equality of the sexes.
Yeah,
So personally, that's my definition of feminism.
That's really amazing, because if you check out right now in social media, it seems like it's about feminism is about fighting the other gender, but that's not what it is actually. And I think I think your definition of feminism.
Actually,
Yeah.
Actually, what I think, I actually share the same sentiments with Chimamanda. I think that feminism is a movement that both sexes can get on board with. I feel like feminism can be a positive movement even for the male gender. I do not believe that it is necessarily like a gender war. I feel like it's a movement for it's a movement that can empower a society at large through the empowerment of women. I do not think that it necessarily means that it's a gender war or it's trying to obliterate the male gender.
Yeah, that is very true. And your definition, I saw it went in line with what also Honorable Martha Karua defines feminism. And if you'll allow me, I'll quote what she defines feminism to be. And this is from one of the responses, the conversation on my WhatsApp, when we bring it out, the conversation, and people start responding to it. So, as Honorable Martha Karua says, she quoted, "Feminism is about advancing women's rights in order to achieve gender equality. It is about changing perspective of female and male rights and advancing equality. And this is a journey that requires the partnership of women and men of goodwill." I think both of you have the same idea, and she's just put it in different words about what feminism is. And I think it is really amazing.
Yeah, and to add to that, I feel like for the objectives of feminism to be achieved, that is
Yeah,
equality among the sexes, I do not think that those goals will be achieved if it's a one gender initiative. A lot of the challenges that feminism seeks to overcome need the partnership of men. If you're going to transform the cultural perspective, if you're going to transform a particular society or a particular social context, you
yeah,
cannot do it on your own. You cannot keep out the other gender. So for this objective to be achieved, you need the other gender. So when I actually feel very happy when I hear a man say that he's a feminist or he's a friend to the movement, I think it's a step towards the right direction. I don't think it's a movement that is supposed to keep off the other gender, but I feel like it will be a collaborative approach.
yeah. So we'll dive into the second question. And the second question would be, what are some of the misconceptions about feminism? And also, at what point does it get to be toxic feminism? Yeah,
Misconceptions about feminism. Wow, there are a lot of misconceptions about feminism. I just feel like right from the get go, I honestly feel like a lot of people don't really know what feminism is, and I feel like as a society, especially with the onset of like digitization and globalization and social media, it's very easy for you to blame feminism for every bad thing that happens in society. So the divorce rates are going up. Oh, feminism, this and this has happened. Maybe it's a domestic
yeah,
violence issue whereby the maybe the victim is a man, as opposed to the popular narrative whereby the victim is a woman. Oh,
yeah,
feminism. There's a rise in underage pregnancy, and girl child is dropping out of school. Oh, feminism. So I feel like feminism is quite an easy target for you to for a lot of people to pin the blame on, even when it's not really the the root cause of that particular challenge. So first of all, I feel like there's a lot of misconstruction, misconception about what feminism really is. I also think that feminism is quite an easy target for people to actually blame every single bad thing about society on feminism. So I feel like feminism is quite a it's quite something that people like to put the blame on, which in most cases might not be like it may not be true. And then the third thing, I feel like there are sectors of feminism, or there are categories of feminism, or rather there are categories of women that use feminism or the guise of feminism to advance malicious agendas, or to drive a personal vendetta, or to do something that is not reflective of the feminism movement. If you're going to be abusive, either physically or emotionally, to a person of the opposite gender who is of the male sex, and you're going to say that you're doing it because you are a feminist, I don't think that reflects on the ideals of feminism. Feminism is not everything that a woman does that a woman does in society. Not everything is a feminist act. I think a lot of people use feminism to justify, a lot of bad things, a lot of malicious agendas, a lot of personal vendetta, which should not be the case. And then I also think another misconception is that feminism has outlived its purpose, which I think is totally not true at all. So people usually say that, nowadays women are empowered, women work, women can do this and do that. So therefore, the objectives of feminism have been achieved, which I think is not true. I feel like at face value you may think that a lot of women are empowered, but if you go down for ground between the difference, they might be the truth agenda role, they might be provisions to get female candidates into schools with lower marks, but in reality you still find that the girl child, or rather the female gender, is quite left behind in the political sphere, in the economic sphere. in the social sphere, there's also a lot of abuse towards women, gender-based violence. A lot of the rape victims are still women. So I definitely do not believe that feminism has outlived its purpose, especially not in a developing country such as Kenya. Um, yeah, I think those are some of the misconceptions, and other misconceptions will come up as we continue to talk about it. But I feel like those are some of the major misconceptions that I feel like are very prevalent.
Yeah, that is very true. There are very many misconceptions about feminism, and I'll also give an opportunity to the viewers to leave in the comment section about some of the misconceptions of feminism that they are aware of. And the other question would be, what are the goals of feminism? What do you think are the goals of feminism?
Um, I think when you think about the goals of feminism, you have to go back to the theory of feminism that you're relying on, or rather, the school of thought of feminism that you're relying on. There are lots of schools of thought of feminism. There's also there's radical feminism that wants to completely eliminate the concept of gender. There's a liberal feminism that aims for equality of the sexes under the law. There's social feminism. So I feel like for me to answer that question, I have to go back to the school of thought of feminism that I personally I ascribe to. But generally, I'd say that one of the principal objectives of feminism is equality before and under the law. So equality of the sexes before under the law. And I think if you think about it like that, it might seem like such an abstract concept, but if you look at society, you will actually see why it's important for there to be legal equality and legal between the sexes. So, for example, it's not even like a long time ago, because women never used to inherit land because the system of inheritance or the system of family law um, before the Matrimonial Property Act 2014 was that um, there could be application of customary laws where either of the parties or both of the parties ascribe to that particular customary law. So what that basically brought out is that there was a lot of disinheritance of property, especially land for women. Um, there's also been issue on citizenship. Before the onset of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, um, a man could pass on citizenship, but a woman could not do the same. So what this really meant is that it was very easy for a woman to lose her citizenship simply because she was not a man. You get there've also been there's a lot, and I cannot exhaust in terms
Yeah.
of the law, but I feel like the one of the most important objectives is equality and before the law, especially in terms of like family law issues and inheritance and succession matters, in terms of citizenship, in terms of having legal capacity to transact without the authority of your husband or the male gender. Yeah. So that's one of the goals. And the other goals is rather, I feel like it's a holistic goal, where you want the economic, the social, and the political equality of the sexes. So this, I think, one of the ways that the feminism movement tries to incorporate women and to bring women into these spaces is by creation of affirmative action programs. For example, in the political space, if you look at the total number of legislators, MPs, governors who are women as compared to men, the number of female legislators, the number of female MPs is quite small in comparison to men. So that means that a lot of women are not taking part in the political spheres of the society. These are women who make up more than half of the population of Kenya. So why aren't they in these spaces? So it is important for us to advocate for programs and policies that push women into these spaces, especially the political sphere. There's a two-third gender rule, which is very controversial, but I think it's a step towards the right direction of incorporating women into the political sphere. There's also economic empowerment. Economic empowerment is very important, especially in gender-based violence.
Yeah.
A lot of women um, could be stuck in marital unions where they can't get out of because they're not economically empowered. So
Yeah.
they find themselves stuck in marital unions because they cannot afford, to sustain themselves outside that marriage unit. So you'd
Yeah.
see that they keep on sustaining gender-based violence, rape, and a lot of abuses and discrimination against women. So economic empowerment for women, access to credit facilities, access to means of production like land, is very important for women. And I feel like when people are arguing on social media and they're saying that feminism has outlived its purpose, I feel like they're talking in some sort of a bubble where you're online, you have bundles, you're connected to the internet, you're in a place where you have network, you have the free time and actual time to get on the internet, and tweet and do this and talk about that, and
Yeah.
you're not taking into account that there are other people who might not be in the same privileged situation as you are. A woman living in Bomet County, totally outside the world of social media, is still in need of the feminism movement. So you being on Twitter and you've been empowered and you have a job, and you actually you have you're in charge of your own agency. You're empowered politically, economically, socially. That's why you're not acknowledging your privilege. That's why you can make such statements that feminism has outlived its purpose, which I think does not. I feel like we still have a lot to do. A lot can be done, and
Yeah.
in the perpetration of this movement, it does not mean that we're trying to we're trying to be against the boy child, or the male gender.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too far.
I think you've shared a lot of insight and a lot of goals in regards to feminism. And yeah, I'm still trying to digest them because it seems like they're a handful. you know.
They're
Um
actually a handful.
yeah. And I guess we have come to the end of this amazing episode. And guys, if you're hoping to have a second episode about feminism, part two, in the comment section, please make us aware of when do you want it, and we'll bring Agatha Gichana back again. And what would be your last word to everyone out there, especially pale mtandao Twitter, people love to just talk. What do you have to tell them? Najua hiyo sikuwa nimeku prepare about it, but I just want you to give a statement. Yeah.
I I just feel like people should exercise moderation and exercise reasonableness, especially when you're on Twitter. And one of the things that totally irks me when I'm on Twitter is when there was this gender war on Twitter that happened some time back. And there are women who are on the app and they're saying this and they're saying that, and then the other gender, or not even the other gender, but other users, could be male, could be female, they get on there and they say, when you're trying to make a point, you should be factual. Angry feminists are coming on here and they're saying this and argue from facts, not from emotions. I just like to say gender issues are emotional issues. And if you hear me talk, I'm talking with a lot of passion. When a woman is being thrown from a balcony over a certain story, it's an emotional issue. That is the kind of incident that evokes public outcry. So if I'm on there and I'm tweeting passionately, or if I'm speaking about the issue and I'm speaking about it passionately, when you come back and then you tell me angry feminists have decided to do this and do this, what you're doing is you're trying to muzzle me, because gender issues, especially issues of gender-based violence, are emotional issues. They're issues that evoke public outcry. They're issues that shock the existence of many women, because that might be that particular person, might be that girl, but who knows? Maybe later on it might be me, it might be your sister, it might be your daughter. So when you see women talking in the apps or tweeting about it, please not just retort and say that stop being angry, stop being emotional. So of course we're emotional, of
Yeah,
course we are angry. Wouldn't you be angry?
I would be.
So gender issues and yeah, and gender-based violence issues are emotional issues. So when you don't muzzle people, and also alternatively, and on the other, on completely the other side of the spectrum, I also feel like feminism should not be used to advocate, malicious agendas and agendas that are clearly not in line with the objectives of feminism. There was also a lot of talk on cancel culture and whether it was the right move. But I feel like cancel culture and feminism are two completely different issues. And if you're going to unpack cancel culture, we're going to be here for a very, very long time. But I honestly feel like if you're going to call yourself a feminist and if you're going to talk about gender-based violence or any other gender issue, you should exercise moderation, reasonableness, and don't use the movement to advocate for malicious agendas, because that is what is giving us a bad rep out there. People think that we are angry and we hate men and we want to kill men, which is entirely not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that statement. And we come to the end of this episode. And guys, remember to like, share, subscribe, and till we meet again next week, same time, same place. Kwaheri, tukutane tena.